Radhe Radhe,
Radhe Radhe,
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinobihari Mandir, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinobihari Ju ki jai, Tenu Shringar ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Dandavat Pranam Vaishnava.
Dandavat Pranam, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Shyam. Jiva Pavana Prabhu is on it today. He's already posted the Mangalacarana. So we will begin with the Mangalacarana, which is the auspicious invocation, invoking, excuse me, the presence, the mercy, the grace, the sidelong glances of our beloved Gurudeva, our beloved Srila Prabhupada, all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, going all the way back to the original Guru who is Krishna himself, and his Guru of Prem, Vrishabhananandini, Srimati Radha Thakurani. Rudra Gupta is on the ball. Radhikara Prema Guru Ami Shishyanata. Radhika is my Guru of Prem and I'm simply her dancing pupil. She makes me dance according to her tune, Krishna says. So, we will be starting Mangalacharan, page 1 of this beautiful bhajan treasure trove, Sri Gaudiya Giti Guccha, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangshta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tang Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanditangscha Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Shri Mad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Pang Shirashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanincha Shri Krishna Padabjadataika Hriddi Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvang Satatam Prapadye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Gaura Preshthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Iti Namine Ati Martya Charitrayo Swashritanancha Paline Jiva Dukhe Sadartaya Shri Nama Premadayine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vigyano Daine Prabhave Namah Madhuryo Jvala Premadhyo Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinaparine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dhvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishorayo Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambhara Sambodhe Padambu Jayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Minodaya Satchidanandanamine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanu Gabbarayate Gauravirbhava Bhumestang Nirdeshta Sajana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jaganathayate Namaha Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaayo Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kantan Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jayatang Surato Pango Mama Mandamatergati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radha Madanamohano Divyat Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Shrimad Ratnagara Singhasanastho Shri Shri Radha Shri Lagovinda Devo Presthali Bhisevyamano Smarami Shri Mandra Sarasarambhi Vangshivatattatastitaha Karshan Menu Svanair Gopir Gopinatha Shri Estunaha Vrindaye Tulasi Devyaye Priyaye Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreyakairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Ashwadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Harer Nama Harer Nama Harer Namaiva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyaka Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Dandava Pranam All Vaishnavas. Now we will call for the mercy and grace of Shri Gurudeva. Gurudev Kabe Mora Se Dina Habe by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, page 34. If you do not have this Shri Gaudiya Gita Gucha or the Gaudiya Kirtan app, I don't know if it's working properly. We do have in our midst, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, who very kindly posts the bhajans in the comment section of the thread, along with their translations, and frequently followed by beautiful commentaries from our acharyas. So you may scroll to his most recent post in this thread and you will find the bhajan present there. Gurudev Kabe Mora se Dina Habe Gurudev Kabe Mora se Dina Habe Gurudev Kabe Mora se স্থিরা করি নির্জনে বসিয়া মন স্থির করি নির্জনে বসিয়া কৃষ্ণ নাম গাবো যবে কৃষ্ণ নাম গাবো যবে মন স্থির করি নির্জনে বসিয়া কৃষ্ণ নাম গাবো যবে কৃষ্ণ নাম গাবো যবে সংসার ফুকা কানে না পশিবে দেহ রোগ দূরে রবে কৃষ্ণ নাম গাবো যবে সংসার পুকা কানে না পশিবে দেহ রোগ দূরে রবে কৃষ্ণ নাম গাবো যবে তবে মোর সে দিন হবে গুরুদেব কবে মোর সে দিন হবে হরে কৃষ্ণ বলি গাহিতে গাহিতে নয়নে বহিবে লোর হরে কৃষ্ণ বলি গাহিতে গাহিতে নয়নে বহিবে লোর দেহেতে পুলক উদিত হইবে দেহেতে পুলক উদিত হইবে প্রেমেতে করিবে ভোর নয়নে বহিবে দেহেতে পুলক উদিত হইবে প্রেমেতে করিবে ভোর নয়নে বহিবে গুরুদেব কবে মোর সে দিন হবে গুরুদেব মুখে বাহিরিবে কাঁপিবে শরীর মন গদ গদ বাণী মুখে বাহিরিবে কাঁপিবে শরীর মন ঘর্ম মুহুর্মুহু বিবর্ণ হইবে ঘর্ম মুহুর্মুহু বিবর্ণ হইবে স্তম্ভিত প্রলয় সম কাঁপিবে শরীর ঘর্ম মুহুর্মুহু বিবর্ণ হইবে স্তম্ভিত প্রলয় সম কাঁপিবে শরীর গুরুদেব কবে মোর সে দিন হবে গুরুদেব কবে মোর সে দিন হবে নিষ্কপতে হেনু দশা কবে হবে নিরন্তর নাম গাব নিষ্কপতে হেনু দশা কবে হবে নিরন্তর নাম গাব আবেশে রহিয়া দেহ যাত্রা করি আবেশে রহিয়া দেহ যাত্রা করি তোমার করুণা পাব নিরন্তর নাম গাব আবেশে রহিয়া দেহ যাত্রা করি তোমার করুণা পাব নিরন্তর নাম গাব গুরুদেব কবে মোর সে দিন হবে 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 গুরুদেব জয় গুরুদেব গুরুদেব জয় গুরুদেব জয় গুরুদেব জয় গুরুদেব গুরুদেব জয় গুরুদেব জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ গুরু পরম্পরা গুরু পরম্পরা গুরু পরম্পরা গুরু পরম্পরা গুরু পরম্পরা গুরু পরম্পরা परंपरा गुरु परंपरा श्रील गुरुदेव की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय रूपानुग गौड़ीय गुरुवर्ग की जय श्री गुरु परंपरा की जय दंडवत प्रणाम वैष्णव I know I spoke about this before, like 7 months or 8 months. I don't know how many months ago. But sometimes people wonder, why do you chant the name of your Gurudev before Prabhupada? Jai Gurudev and then Jai Prabhupada. And the reason is simple. That's our process. First, we pray to our own Gurudev, Ahado Guru Padashray, and then to our Guru Varga, Guru Parampara. That includes Rupa Goswami, all of our acharyas, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, of course our Param Gurudev, our Srila Prabhupada. And then you look at the example they have set as acharyas. You don't hear our Srila Prabhupada jumping over the head of his Gurudev to first and foremost only glorify Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. How does he glorify Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj? By having full nishta in the lotus feet of his Gurudev. And then through that medium, he's glorifying him. In the same way, the Supreme Lord himself, he says, unless one first offers their everything in the lotus feet of Sri Guru. And I'm going to mix another verse there. Yes, Yasya deve parabhakti yata deve tata guru. With the same faith, the same honor, the same respect as you would give Bhagavan himself. Unless one first worships Sri Gurudev, then their worship will never be able to come to me. It will be fruitless, he says. Fruitless. Literally, nishphala. He uses this term. Anyata nishphalo bhavet. Everything will be fruitless. So this process is given. So first we call out Jai Gurudev. Then we call out to our Guru's Guru or our Guru Varga, the Vaishnavas. And then from there, Nityananda Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Since Radhika is the Prem Guru of Krishna, we actually chant Krishna Deva Bhavantam Bande first, or Bhajan for Krishna, then Srimati Radhika. And then of course their combined form as Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So sometimes, I remember when I received that lesson, because I was doing my Mangalacarana when I was asked to speak. One of the first times I was asked to speak, and I offered my pranam to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada first, before my Gurudev, because, well, I was raised and steeped in all of his teachings. So I thought because he came first in my life, that I should give my Dandavat pranam to him first. But the Vaishnavas who were present explained that the proper way, the proper process is to first give it to your Gurudev and then acknowledge your Shiksha Gurus. Otherwise, we would all give honor and respect to Rupa Goswami and all of those who came first before our own Gurudev as well. So we start our pranam through the immediate connection, through that person who has given us Harinam and Diksha, Divyam Jnanam, Kshapayati Iti Diksha, who has given us that, our rebirth in essence. And then from there we are able to properly approach the Purva Acharyas, the previous Acharyas. Dandava Pranam, Balabhadra Prabhu ki jai, Chita Krishna Prabhu ki jai. Oh, Isha Thakurani is there. Radhe Radhe, Marcus, Anjali, Hare Krishna, Dandava Pranam al Vaishnava. So now we're going to call for the mercy of the Vaishnavas in the form of the Bhajan by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Ohe Vaishnava Thakur. Page 39. O he Vaishnava Thakura, দয়ারো সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ারো সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি প্রিয়া পদ ছায়া শোধো হে আমারে তোমার চরণ ধরি দিয়া পদ ছায়া শোধো হে আমারে তোমার চরণ ধরি বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ারো সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ারো সাগর এ দাসে করুণা করি ও ছয় বেগ দোহি ছয় দোষ শোধি ছয় গুণ দেহ দাসে ছয় বেগ দোহি ছয় দোষ শোধি ছয় গুণ দেহ দাসে ছয় সত সঙ্গ দেহ হে আমারে বসেছি সঙ্গে রয়াসে ছয় সত সঙ্গ দেহ হে আমারে বসেছি সঙ্গে রয়াসে একাকী আমার নাহি পাইব হরি নাম সংকীর্তনে একাকী আমার নাহি পাইব হরি নাম সংকীর্তনে তুমি কৃপা করি শ্রদ্ধা বিন্দু দিয়া দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধনে তুমি কৃপা করি শ্রদ্ধা বিন্দু দিয়া দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধনে কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো তোমার শক্তি আছে কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো তোমার শক্তি আছে আমি তো কাঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ধাই তো পাছে পাছে আমি তো কাঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ধাই তো পাছে পাছে আমি তো কাঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি আমি তো কাঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ধাই তো পাছে পাছে ধাই তো পাছে পাছে ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ারো সাগর হে দাসে করুণা করি বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর doyaro sagaro edase karuna kori. Vaishnava Thakura, Vaishnava Thakura, Vaishnava Thakura, Jaya Vaishnava Thakura, Jaya Vaishnava Thakura, Vaishnava Thakura, Vaishnava Thakura, Jaya Vaishnava Thakura. Prabhu kripa karo more, doya karo, Prabhu kripa karo more, doya karo, Prabhu kripa karo more, doya karo, Prabhu kripa karo more, doya karo. All Vaishnava Thakurs ki jai. It's like a little discussions going on here. My understanding about Prabhupada's pranam mantra is, at the time when he was in the US, none of the devotees there knew Sanskrit or anything really about Krishna. When he first started preaching, he was introducing them. They also needed to chant the pranam mantra to their Gurudev. So I have heard that our Srila Prabhupada gave the pranam mantra to them that they can chant for himself, which is also proper, because although Sri Guru is the most humble of all humble souls, yet at the same time they must take that role in service. And if they do not take that role, then they are not allowing those sincere aspirants to do what they need to do, which is to surrender and submit at the lotus feet of their Gurudev. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, in his Vyas Puja discussion in Madras, maybe Jiva Pavana Prabhu or anyone, you have that speech. I think he uses the word brute, like an animal in a zoo. You're seeing me here, receiving all of this pomp, adulation, adoration, like an animal in a zoo, he said, like a brute. And then he explained why he's accepting this. Although Gurudev, by his nature, is completely surrendered to his Guru Varga and Krishna, yet in service to them he has to accept the role of not only accepting disciples, but instructing and correcting them as well. But this is all in seva. If he did not do so, then he would not allow the process to continue to flow. Therefore, it is a requirement on his part. So in the same way, our Srila Prabhupada inspired within his disciples, and I have personally witnessed it when I was very young, because I was one of those children who were placed literally for the purpose of his service in an ashram at quite a young age, while my parents were serving day and night in every possible way to please him. And it wasn't only them, it was all of his disciples. Complete dedication. They understood this principle of surrendering everything at the lotus feet of Guru. And so they gave everything. They gave their money, their full energy, their youth, serving day and night. You can ask Jiva Pavana Prabhu or anyone. So I think that's what Marcus Vandel, I can't remember your devotee name, please forgive me, is trying to tell, if I'm not mistaken. So who gave the name, the pranam mantra, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyabari Paschatya Deshitarim? Who gave that? Who gave Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine? Who was qualified to write that pranam for him? So, because he is completely self-surrendered and has nothing to take for himself, any love, any adoration, any affection, any mood of surrender that comes to him, he doesn't accept for himself. He's the perfect, transparent medium or channel for transmitting that. I would say there is an extra added component. He purifies it, converts it, and petitions on our behalf despite our impurities or our lack of qualification. So there is something there, but it's not a negative thing. Maybe we don't have the power to connect on our own, but he makes it possible that that connection will take place. That is, in essence, what Sri Guru is. Krishna is reaching his hand to us, we're reaching our hand to Krishna, and Guru is that connecting principle. Thank you, Jiva Pavana Prabhu. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is explaining, if I have to be, no, not that one, sorry, not that one. It's the speech he gave in Madras on his own appearance day. You can find it in bbmlu.org. This one is Srila Saraswati Thakur's speech on Guru Nishtha. Correct. Yes. Everyone would start with their Diksha Guru. And the function of all Vaishnavas and Shiksha Gurus is to increase their faith in their Diksha Guru. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, our Param Gurudev, he writes this quite emphatically, that this is the function of Shiksha, is to increase one's faith in their Diksha Guru. Not to take it for themselves. Gone, Sudevi? Yeah. I think JJ's gone. Nope, Nandini said we're gone. Jaldi karo.
We are? No, we're here. We're here.
Sorry.
It says there's only 8 devotees.
No. No, there's more.
I'm getting saying gone too.
It was interrupted. It should be resumed shortly.
It's stop and go.
Is it this connection? I don't even know how many gigs are left on the...
It's going less. Should I stop it and start
No.
again?
Where is it?
On my Facebook page.
It's still going. Radhe Radhe. Stop and go. Stop and go, stop and go.
Should I stop and start it again?
I don't think so. Is it still going there?
Yeah. Something's not
Can you
right.
check the app? Don't turn it off of Facebook. Just check the app and see how much data is remaining.
I don't understand it. I'm sorry.
Stay. I think I should just finish it. Did you check? They haven't noticed, maybe. It says it's going still.
Is it on Airtel or is it on...
It's on Airtel. Radhe Radhe.
I don't know.
Haribo. Oh, we're back. Okay. The power cut, and then the internet came back on. I don't know what's going on. Hare Krishna. It was just a pause in the server. Please forgive us for that. Now we will call for the mercy of Sri Rupa Goswami. I guess so. Is it okay? Are we here? Radhe Radhe. I see some flowers, yellow hearts, happy faces. Someone's calling for Sonam. Oh, there. Because Thakurji were showing with candlelight, apparently. Dandavat Pranam. Okay. Yankali Rupa Sharira na Dharata. Page 47 by Sri Madhav Das. One of the favorites of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Yankali Rupa Shariran Dharata. It's gone again. Yankali Rupa Shariran Dharata. Yankali Rupa Shariran Dharata. Yankali Rupa Shariran Dharata. Tanbraja Prema Mahanidhi Kudharika. Tanbraja Prema Mahanidhi Kudharika. Kona Kapata Ugharata. Kona Kapata Ugharata. Yankali Rupa Shariran Dharata. Yankali Rupa Shariran Dharata. Nirakira Hangsana Pano Vidhayono. Nirakira Hangsana Pano Vidhayono. Kona Pritaka Karipayoto. Kona Pritaka Karipayoto. Kosavatyaji Bhaji Vrindavana. Kosavatyaji Bhaji Vrindavana. Kosava Grantha Virachita. Kosava Grantha Virachita. Yankali Rupa Shariran Dharata. Yankali Rupa Shariran Dharata. Javapetuana Pula Palathanana Vidha. Javapetuana Pula Palathanana Vidha. Manoraji Arovindo. Manoraji Arovindo. Somadhukar Binu Panakono Janoto. Somadhukar Binu Panakono Janoto. Vidyamano Karibandha. Vidyamano Karibandha. Yankali Rupa Shariran Dharata. Yankali Rupa Shariran Dharata. O Janata Mathura Vrindavana. O Janata Mathura प्रसादे सकल जन जाकर चरण प्रसादे सकल जन ताई गवाई सुख पावत काई गवाई सुख पावत चरण कमले शरणागत माधो चरण कमले शरणागत माधो तव महिमा उरलागत तव महिमा उरलागत यंकलि रूप शरीरन्नधारत यंकलि रूप शरीरन्नधारत अन्व्रज प्रेम महानिधि कुठरिक अन्व्रज प्रेम महानिधि कुठरिक कौनकपात उघारत कौनकपात उघारत यंकलि रूप शरीरन्नधारत 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 रूप गोस्वामी प्रभु रूप गोस्वामी 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 प्रभु हे 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 श्री रूप गोस्वामी पाद की जय श्री षड गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय रूपानुग गौड़ीय गुरुवर्ग की जय Sorry about the internet difficulty. Sometimes that just happens. And if it can happen anywhere, it can happen in India. Very interesting. Is that a question, Krishna Premavati? Do I have Shraddha or not? So before I answer that, because I can't tell you if you have it or not, you will have to utilize the tools which our Guru Varga gives to determine whether you have it or not. What I spoke previously about why Guru takes that role, although they are the most humble, that can be encapsulated within that beautiful lecture by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur that he gave when he was in Madras on his own appearance day celebration. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Bhakti Siddhanta Madras, animal, fruit. It's not coming up as fast as I want it to, so I'm not going to waste any more time. But if any of you, if Jiva Pavana Prabhu, you can find that, what he spoke that time in Madras, now known as Chennai, but that time it was known as Madras. Okay, do I have Shraddha or not? If we want to know if we have Shraddha, first of all, we must understand something of the definition of Shraddha. Shraddha is not just faith. It's not simply that I believe. Because one can believe something and then choose to not believe that and believe another thing. But Shraddha is something different. Shraddha, when we are speaking about that in terms of spiritual terms, is paramartik, or of the transcendental. It is the first particle of prem, which is like the seed form of prem, from which prem, or the prema lata, the creeper of bhakti, bhav and prem grows. So it is not of the material world, therefore we differentiate between Shraddha or belief and Paramartik Shraddha, which is the first particle of prem or transcendental Shraddha. According to all revealed scriptures, according to those who know, Shraddha Shabde, this term, this word Shraddha, Vishvash Kohe, according to those who know, Sudhrida Nishchoy Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krito Hoy, is defined as the exclusive faith that just by serving Krishna, by engaging in bhakti to Krishna, automatically all other obligations are taken care of. And I like to add how Srila Govinda Maharaj would say, nothing to do, Baba, nothing to do. If you have that conviction that Krishna is my protector, Krishna is my maintainer, Krishna will take care of everything else. It's basically sarva dharmam parityajya. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, near the very end, abandon all varieties of worldly dharma. That does not mean sanatan dharma. You can never abandon your eternal dharma, the nature of your atma. It's not possible to abandon that. But sarva dharman means all kinds of kaitava dharma. Means those dharmas which are of this world, which are binding in this world, and which don't really have the absolute truth or transcendence as their goal. Sarva dharman parityajya. He said, give it up. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Surrender exclusively unto me. Ahang twang sarva papebhyo moksha. If you give it up, you have debts. We have debts to our parents, we have debts to the demigods, we have debts to so many, well, to the government, we have debts to our teachers, we have debts to so many. And if we don't repay those debts, then we incur karmic sin. So Krishna says, any sin that would come as a result of giving up your karmic debts, if you have surrendered exclusively to me, mam ekam sharanam, exclusive means wholly, totally, completely, sharanam, complete shelter, surrender. Then ahang twang sarva papebhyo moksha, I will free you from the sinful reaction of giving that up. Now there's a special part in that verse. There's a requirement. Wholesale surrender is the requirement. If you give up your duties and you have not wholly surrendered to Krishna, then you can also endure difficulty. You can endure difficulty because you have, in essence, given up your worldly duties and not surrendered to Krishna. Then there's pretense involved, and then you will have to suffer the result of your sinful actions. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, very expertly in Jaiva Dharma, spoke about these subjects in the 2 chapters, Nitya Dharma and Naimitika Dharma. Maybe Naimitika Dharma might have come first. He spoke about these 2 different things. What is our eternal function, dharma, and what is our worldly dharma? As long as we are not in that level, then there is requirement that we follow some kind of worldly dharma. And even those who are on that level, completely surrendered to Krishna, in order to not create disturbance in society, did not try to force their way. Haridas Thakur did not try to force his way into Jagannath temple, although he's more qualified than any to go there. Rup Sanatan did not try to force their way into Jagannath temple, and we are followers of Rup Sanatan. Those who can go, they can go, but they didn't force it because of societal restrictions. So they understood it, they accepted in humility, and Jagannath came to them in the form of Mahaprabhu, and during the Rath Yatra festival. Or is that a double? Yatra means festival. This festival of the chariots. So this is the barometer. And the intrinsic nature of Shraddha, Satya Sharanapati Lakshanaha. Sharanapati means surrender. What is surrender? These are the symptoms of surrender are the intrinsic symptoms of Shraddha, or transcendental faith. So those symptoms are anukulyasya sankalpa. One accepts, makes a firm resolution to accept in their life only those things which are favorable for the increase of their devotion to Krishna. And that necessitates pratikulyasya varjanam, making a firm resolution to avoid whatever activities or association or anything which does not increase their thirst to Krishna. To avoid that, reject it, keep it at a far distance, pranam forever. Rakshishyatiti vishvasho, accepting that Krishna is my only protector. Today there was something interesting. Someone wrote something to the effect of, if you do this or that, it means you have no faith in Krishna. And the response was, Krishna also gave you some ability, and he also directs you. He gives you intelligence. So you can stand in the middle of the highway in front of cars that are moving at 80 miles an hour and just say, well, Krishna is going to protect me. Or maybe he will protect you by guiding you from inside, telling you, it's time to move out of the way. I've given you legs, I've given you a brain, I've given you eyes and ears. You can move out of the way. So it doesn't mean to dare Krishna. Prahlad did not jump off a cliff. Hiranyakashipu threw him off a cliff. And Krishna caught him. But he's not jumping off the cliff saying, Krishna, I dare you to catch me. That's engaging Krishna in one's own service. So one should not be a fool. One should not be blind or stupid. Krishna gave us intelligence for a reason. So accepting that Krishna is my protector. He is my protector. And through whatever medium he will protect us, he will protect us. Goptritve varanam tata. Krishna is my only maintainer. Now, we can also understand, our Gurudev told us, don't have regular jobs in this world. He gave us that very strong instruction. In fact, when we were down to nothing, we had $20 to our names, and it was like a period of 3 months. We were going to stay with Sudevi's mother, and Sudevi's mother had no money. She was struggling just to maintain herself, and she said, I can't support you, I can't feed you, I don't have anything. We wrote to Gurudev, what are we supposed to do? And Gurudev said, stay where you are, and when I see you in June, then we can discuss it. And we were like, it's March. How are we going to survive? Gurudev ordered us not to get jobs in this world. What are we going to do? So, in that case, we had to follow the order of Gurudev. We received the mercy and grace to be able to follow the order of Gurudev. Sudevi's mother was worried. It so happened that within a few weeks her mother passed away from this world, and Sudevi's mother's mother, the grandmother passed away, and within a week all of the money that she had for her family was distributed, and so Sudevi's mother was able to support us, to feed us, and she even sent us to Parikrama that year. We got tickets to India. So we can say, no, I'm only going to accept the money which Gurudev drops out of the sky as a donation. But somehow the arrangement was made by the Lord that it came through this medium, and we see it like that. There was another time when every year someone was donating for us to travel around the world, but something happened and they could no longer donate, and we were stuck. And out of the blue, someone we didn't speak to in 3 years somehow found our home phone number and said, I just came into something and I was inspired to give it for your traveling seva. The same amount which was cut on this side was now being offered on this side. And we were like, interesting. So it's not that we only say, okay, only if Krishna is dropping it out of the sky or Gurudev. It is, but it's coming through different mediums. So Srila Prabhupada said, we don't ask for money, but if anyone donates, we don't reject it, we accept it. And I'm not telling you this for any ulterior reason. I'm trying to make a point here. Krishna's our protector. Krishna's our maintainer. To have firm conviction in this. These are symptoms of Sharanagati, if one has firm conviction. And when Guru or Krishna gives us some taste of this, this increases our inspiration to actually run toward real, pure Shraddha, which is complete surrender. So, Rakshashititi Vishwasho Goptritvevaranam Tata Atmanikshep. Atmanikshep is also part of Shraddha. And Atmanikshep means completely surrendering myself and my independence, first and foremost, wholly and totally at the lotus feet of Gurudev and Karpanya, with deep humility. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada explains that this humility does not mean to be humble to all, the atheists and Mayavadis. One can be kind, one can be respectful, but one should not embrace their conceptions. So it means to be humble to Hari, Guru and Vaishnava. This is the meaning of humility. Humble to those persons, and that humility is actually a function of association with those who are truly great and actually so humble as well. Then one can develop paramartic or transcendental humility. So, Shraddha is not a cheap thing. When we hear about Shraddha, we think, oh, Shraddha means faith. But Shraddha is a lot deeper than faith. When we hear this term Sharanagati, in English it's translated to surrender, but it's much, much more than surrender. Surrender generally in English has the connotation of, I've been fighting and now I give up, okay, you win. But Srila Gurudev explained that devotional surrender is something different. Out of attachment, out of affection, out of a need to reciprocate with that attachment and affection due to receiving Krishna. I have no way to repay you, so I want to serve you in any way possible. And Gurudev asked the devotee, why are you driving me from the airport? The devotee said, because I want to. And Gurudev said, this is devotional surrender. Because you have this affection in your heart to the point that you will sacrifice your life for that person. This is devotional surrender. And we see this also in the material world in a perverted form, but the greatest love in this material world is said to be the love of a mother for her child. She can run in front of a car and save her child. What did you want to add?
Maybe it's past.
No. Chalo.
I was just, as I was listening to you and about surrender, and also you were speaking about, you know, we've been given a brain.
Okay.
So, one of the things I was just contemplating when you were saying that is Srila Rupa Goswami.
Mm-hmm.
He's completely surrendered to Krishna, but when he desired something, or when Srimati Radhika came and served, they were repenting of that.
Mm.
He could have cooked it, he could have offered something, but he desired something in his heart. And so Srila Gurudev he kind of made a comparison about if Krishna is serving us, or Srimati Radhika is serving, or if we're serving them.
Mm.
So if you have intelligence and you have the means to do something, whether it's, you know, it's cold out, put a coat on, you know, you use your intelligence.
Yes.
If you're hungry, you cook something, you eat. You don't necessarily have to sit down and say, okay, Krishna, now feed me, because that's making him your servant.
Yes.
And so it was just as you were saying that, surrender doesn't mean, like, we had a friend who was feeling that they were surrendered to Gurudev, so they would give all their money to Gurudev. And then every day they would go to Gurudev and ask for money.
Right. And Gurudev was like, I'm not a banker.
Yeah, don't do this. Just take your money, and you know. And they're, oh, but I just want to depend on you. He's like, this isn't dependence. This is bothering me.
Right.
Take what you need. Use that. If you want to give something to the parikrama or to a donation, then do that.
Right.
It's not like you just, you know, I'm your servant now. You knock on my door and I give you your money back.
Right.
You have your intelligence, use it.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't mean you're not surrendered. It means that you're also serving. You're not engaging the Lord in your service. I remember when I was given Shalagram from Ambarish Prabhu, and he said, he gave me a Dwarkashila, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want Dwarkashila, you know, because it's Dwarkadish. And he said, no, when you're worshipping Shalagram, you have to have this Shila, because he gives you an impression in the heart. Oh, I've made some aparad, or oh, they want this, I should do that. He gives some revelation of how to serve.
Mm.
So this is also, in a sense, using your intelligence. I have house shoes. You know, when I go in front of Thakurji, I take them off. It's a mood that comes in your heart, even though you're in the house and you're walking there all day. When you're serving, you take off those house shoes. You know what I mean? It's like you use your intelligence. You don't need someone to tell you, and you don't need Krishna to do everything. You're trying to serve, not to engage in your service. So it's not against surrender to do the needful.
Right. I'm remembering when Sudevi was speaking how our Gurudev, actually one time, we were in Barshana, and Gurudev, he looked out at the audience, and he looked at Sudevi, myself, and Vishaka. We were traveling as a team at that time. And Gurudev said, you are like good cows. You give so much milk, but you take no grass. And he said others, and he looked at some on the stage, he said, they are like elephants. They take so much grass, but they give no milk. So we were requesting donations from devotees around the world. Just a little bit from each main group that we were going to go to. So the devotees from England, they could arrange for collection. The devotees from Germany could arrange from different places in the US and Canada and Australia, like this. And so then when all of it would come together, then we would arrange our 3 world tickets. And when we would come to Gurudev, we would never ask him for anything, but we would always give him a donation.
Well, Gurudev would pay their tickets and they would pay them back.
I know. So we would never ask him for anything, but we would always give him a donation, even if it was small. But you know, sometimes it'd be 600, sometimes 1,000, sometimes more. It was just depending on whatever we could give at the time. And many of the others, they would come and borrow from Gurudev. They would actually say, I need money for my tickets. And then they would get their tickets, travel around the world, and collect, and then give that same amount back, if that. And so Gurudev actually told them, you should ask them what they're doing, how they're doing it. And so Gurudev was pleased that we were using some simple, God-given intelligence to be able to do our seva without creating any disturbance to Him. That we were able to function and just offer something instead of taking and then giving back. And so this was a lesson for us as well, that we shouldn't create any disturbance for Gurudev, any disturbance for Krishna, but we should be in such a way that whatever gifts Krishna has given us, we should utilize that and engage everything in the service of Krishna. It's all coming from Krishna anyway. It's all coming from Gurudev anyway. But how does one utilize that? So when Sudevi was speaking, I was thinking about that yes, we can do it one way or we can do it another way. And it's not that the one is wrong or not, but Gurudev actually expressed pleasure. That I appreciate this. You're like good cows, giving so much milk but taking no grass. And so this is another example of how to utilize what Krishna has given, not just thinking, oh, I'm so dependent that I'm going to disturb you, but rather, I will always endeavor to delight you. Today, Anjali Didi, not Anjali Didi, sorry, Shachi, she posted a beautiful quote from Srila Prabhupada. And we've known her from day one because she was with our Gurudev already before 1996. So our Srila Prabhupada, he said, by engaging one's tongue in chanting and taking prasad, simultaneously following the regulative principles, the Lord reveals Himself upon this. In other words, if you are sincere to serve continuously and always chanting, all such questions become answered automatically. I never asked my spiritual master one question, except one. How shall I serve you? So Srila Prabhupada was sharing this with Upendra in 1972. How shall I serve you? What can I do to please you? Kinkarin kuru. Right? What to do, what can I do? How can I serve you? And even more than that, one doesn't need to ask. When they develop more and more ability, they don't have to ask that question. Srila Gurudev would tell that the best disciple already understands the heart of Guru and does the needful without even being asked. One needs to be told what to do, and one, even though Gurudev tells many times, he still doesn't follow. So, coming back to the point, Shraddha, faith, is not just belief. Do we have Shraddha? My understanding, and I have to say it like this, so that I don't make offense to anyone. My understanding is that Shraddha is not a cheap thing. It is quite high, actually. It is quite high. If the symptoms of Sharanagati are the intrinsic symptoms of Shraddha, then Shraddha, Nishta, Ruchi, Ashakti, and all, this is not something which is so easy to acquire. Most devotees think that Shraddha is perfection, right? Surrender. But if we understand where Shraddha really is, or at least have some idea based on Shastra and the teachings of our Guru Varga, what Shraddha is, then instead of thinking, oh, I have Shraddha, and maybe I almost have Nishta, and I'm tasting the holy name, we can have that humility, which is in essence necessary to attract the mercy of the divinity. That feeling that I have nothing. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Jogyata vichare. I don't have any good intelligence. I don't have anything. On my own, I have no strength. I don't have any bhakti, not even an iota of bhakti, or na prema gandha. I don't even have a smell, a scent of prem, love and affection. Rupa Goswami saying, I don't even have a sesame seed of bhakti. So all of them have this kind of mood. Hare Krishna. We can also look at ourselves, and if we think, I'm a Vaishnava, I have this, I have that, this is something of a disqualification because it will halt our progress. Mahaprabhu says, how can we progress properly? Trinarapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. With deep humility to Hari Guru Vaishnava. Being more tolerant than a tree. This is a difficult one. No, a tree gives you shade while standing in the hot sun. A tree gives you fruit when you throw sticks and rocks at it. A tree doesn't complain, or you can't hear it anyhow, screaming when you are cutting its branches. But a tree is giving nourishment to all others. It gives you its best thing, even if you strike it. This is the meaning of tarorapi sahishnuna, one of the little bits of the meanings. And amanina manadena. Not expecting or wanting any honor or respect from others, and ready to give all honor and respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can take shelter of and chant the holy names of the Lord constantly. Yes. I just look back and I see Katie, she has written Ado Shraddha. So, first of all, Ado means first of all, Adi, Ado, Shraddha. First there must be Shraddha. Ado Shraddha tata sadhu sangat tabbajana kriya tato nartana vritisat. So, first of all there's Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha. So our Gurudev has explained that there is a preliminary Shraddha and then a different, more focused kind of Shraddha. So the preliminary Shraddha is the kind which comes as a result of previous lifetimes accumulated Sukriti. And the other Shraddha comes due to direct Sadhu Sangha. By their association, this Shraddha, this intense faith starts to grow. Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite. By the mercy of Guru, Prema Bhakti manifests in the heart. First in seed form, that seed form is Shraddha. And as this begins to grow to Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav and Prem, gradually as it is growing, then all avidya is destroyed. All ignorance is gradually destroyed. So the first preliminary Shraddha would be something like this. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Trivikram Maharaj explained about Sukriti. That when Nard entered the forest, there was one hunter there. He was the enemy of the animals. He'd like to half kill them, meaning he would maim them and then watch them slither and squirm and flutter for a long time until they died, and he would actually relish and revel in that fun. He was such a simple person. So Narada Muni came into that forest, and at that time, due to the presence of Narada Muni, so many of the animals actually ran away because Mrigari was distracted. Mrigari became very angry and upset at him. How dare you enter here and spoil my fun? And he wanted to also kill Narada Muni because he was so simple. That moment Narada Muni said, "Stop!" Mrigari stopped. Right there, he followed the order of a sadhu. What was it that inspired within his heart to follow the order of the sadhu? Srila Bhakti Vedanta Trivikram Maharaj, the god brother of our Srila Gurudev, a disciple of Srila Bhakti Pragyan, Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he explained that it was accumulated sukriti or pious spiritual merit from previous lives that made it such that when he heard the sadhu say stop, he stopped. And by that, he developed more sukriti. And then he received sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sarva shastre koi, lavamatra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. One moment's association with a sadhu, with a pure devotee who is in touch with the absolute truth 24 hours a day. This is the meaning of sadhu, who is connected to sat, the truth. One moment's association, what happened? That moment Narada Muni told him, you shouldn't do this. Don't do this to them. If you're going to kill them, if you need to, then kill them all the way. Don't just maim them. So this is also something for us. If you have some kind of situation and you don't want to maim something, it's not nice, it's not kind. So it doesn't mean, I'm just thinking, sometimes people they go to kill a mosquito and then they see the thing half dead, but they're leaving it like that. It's not nice. So I'm not telling anyone that you should kill mosquitoes. I'm just saying if you're going to kill it, don't do it halfway. Just finish it. And don't quote me on that, please. So Gurudev, I told you, by that time he wiped his forehead and he saw, there was blood, and he just looked at us with so much compassion. He just said, don't do like that. So that's the quote you can give. So coming back to this, Sadhu Sangha. Then Narada Muni showed him. First he told him, you should give this up. He said, how will I survive? I've been a hunter all my life. This is what I do. This is how I support myself. This is how I support my livelihood. Narada Muni said, you should stop. And then Narada Muni basically gave him the eyes to see what his karmic result would be. Millions of lifetimes of suffering, the most horrendous kinds of sufferings. And every one of those creatures that he had maimed or killed would come back and get him as well. Basically scared Mrigari straight. Mrigari was like, and then he fell at the feet of Narada Muni. What should I do? What should I do? Narada Muni ordered him, break your bow. Narada Muni then gave him the instruction. Krishna will provide everything. So in this case, Guru is telling him, Krishna is going to maintain you. You take shelter of Harinam, sit in one place, and don't worry about anything else. Well, Krishna is bound to fulfill the promise of his pure devotees. So Mrigari gave up all of his nonsense hunting and all the simple activities, sat in one place taking shelter of Harinam. Now this was by the power of Sadhu Sangha. Within a very short time, everyone heard this great, really terrible hunter has now become a great devotee of the Lord. What did they do? Everyone was coming and providing all kinds of facility, giving in charity, foods and fruits and this and that, everything. So everything was maintained. So this is also part of Shraddha. So there's a preliminary Shraddha, and then after the Sadhu Sangha, there is a deep kind of Shraddha that takes place. And we see it in this history of Mrigari. A very deep kind of Shraddha took place. He broke his bow and had faith in the words of Narada Muni that everything would be maintained. And then from that, fixed, he saw it was taking place in his own life. Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, Prem. So, from that first preliminary Shraddha comes the Sadhu Sangha, then the secondary Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, the Bhajana Kriya. Bhajana Kriya means the activities, the positive aspects of bhakti. And from doing that, then, anartha nivritti. All anarthas are gradually eliminated. It doesn't happen all at once, not usually. It usually takes place over time. As something is growing into that space, like filling a glass of water, with water, the air is gradually pushed out. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens as the water is filling. So as one is filling with bhakti, with sadhu sangha, with devotion, gradually all anarthas are removed. Same thing with Harinam Prabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Cheto darpanamarjanam bhava mahadabhagni nirvapanam. Cleaning the mirror of the heart. It might not be cleaned all at once, in one moment. It could be, takshanat. It can happen, but it doesn't usually happen that way. So gradually, if one is sick with jaundice, you don't suddenly get better. Over time, while taking the remedy or the test, this sugar candy tastes bitter when you have jaundice, but while continuously chanting the holy name under the guidance of sadhus and Vaishnavas and hearing Harikatha, gradually, the bitterness will disappear and we will be able to appreciate that sweetness. And then eventually when Ruchi comes, we will think, how sweet are these names of the Lord. Just these two syllables, Krishna, how much nectar is within them. Oh, I require millions of ears to drink that nectar and millions of tongues to taste that nectar, like Rupa Goswami has told. So I made the point, Shraddha, something comes from Sukriti. There must be Sukriti. But then Sadhu Sangha comes. And by that Sadhu Sangha, by their grace, Bhakti is awakened in the heart. It is not that they are giving anything new, but that by their presence and by the Harikatha that they are giving, Nashtaprayesh Vabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yuttama Shlokir Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Shrimatam Sakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantasto Hyabadrani Vidunoti Surit Satam Vidyate Hridaya Grantischidhyante Sarvasankshayakshiyante Chasya Karmani Drishta Ivatmanishvare. By the process of devotion, under the guidance of sadhus, in their association, in the guidance of Tad Anuragi Jan, as Rupa Goswami is telling. That person whose heart is overflowing with love and affection, an eternal associate of the Lord, being in their guidance, in their association, and doing what under their guidance and association? Tannama Rupa Charitari Sukirtananu Smrityo Kramena Rasanamanasin Niyojya Tishtam Braje. To always remember Krishna's names, forms, qualities, pastimes, and do deep, intense, focused, concentrated, absorbed kirtan of those names, qualities, forms, and pastimes. Always remembering Krishna's leelas, in this case, smrityo kramena. Kramena means in a sequence. That would be the Ashtakaliya Leela. Krishna's pastimes have a sequence. First and foremost for us, it would be the Ashtakaliya Leela of Mahaprabhu. And via that medium, naturally, gradually, the Ashtakaliya Leela of Krishna, Srimati Radhika, will manifest in our hearts. Always residing in Vrindavan. If one cannot do so physically, then by mind, but really always at the lotus feet of Shri Guru, or the pure Vaishnava, whose heart is Vrindavan. That is Vrindavan. Wherever they are, that place is Vrindavan. Those rivers are Yamuna, those mountains are Govardhan, like what Gurudeva did in New Braj. He made Govardhan manifest there. Yamuna River, Radha Kund, Shyama Kund. And when he would tell Harikatha, the peacocks would start making their cawing noise. Beautiful nectar sprinkles would come, flowers would bloom. It was like what you read about Rupa Goswami, and Gurudeva was starting to give his Harikatha. So, Krishna Prema manifests by the association of those who have that in their heart. In the same way that fire manifests in wood by the association of fire. It's present inside in a dormant, latent, maybe invisible form, but that tree has been taking the energy of the sun for its whole life. And that heat, that fire is present within that wood. It just needs to be unlocked. How do you unlock it? With fire. So that person who is burning with love and affection for Krishna, by coming close to them and being in their association, Boshe Chishangira Ashe, gradually what is in their heart will awaken in our heart. Koromore Atmasat. Make me like yours, make my heart like yours, make me yours. Gradually this will take place. Thank you, Achyuta Krishna Prabhu, for bringing this point forward. Bhakti Sukriti is necessary. Karma Sukriti or regular Sukriti does not give you that, but Bhakti Sukriti is different than material Sukriti. Krishna Bhakti Rasabhavitamati Kriyatam jadi kutopi labhyate tatra lolyam api mulyam ekalam janma koti shukritayar na labhyate. This is in the conversation between Mahaprabhu and Rai Ramananda Rai. In Sri Caitanya Charitamrita you can find this verse. In fact, Srila Prabhupada said he named the Krishna consciousness movement after this verse. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita. So, this verse is saying that even millions of lifetimes of doing good activities or sukarma, this cannot give one the qualification for Krishna Bhakti Ras. The root qualification for Krishna Bhakti Ras is the intense, greedy desire to attain it. And wherever that can be had or received, that greed, one must purchase it or somehow by any means acquire it. That is symptomatic of the nature of greed. One must get it without delay. And where can that be had? Only in the association of those that have it. Who has it? The pure devotees of the Lord. And we will approach those persons, take shelter of those pure devotees, and beg them for their mercy, being in their association, seeing their exclusive surrender, one-pointedness, dedication, and experience of nectar, Purna Amrita Ashvadanam. A greed will naturally awaken in our heart to also want what they have. They are tasting nectar. I am like a dog watching they are tasting this nectar, rasamalai. They have taken that rasamalai, but there is something left over in that bowl. I want even one drop. Please, please give it to me. Please give it to me. Please give it to me. I will not leave until I get it. And seeing our eagerness, seeing our sincerity, they may mercifully, kindly throw us the bowl. And then we will be able to taste that nectar. Once tasting, we will be completely obsessed with tasting it again and again and again. It is said like a Manohar Laddu. Manohar Laddu is that laddu which, if you've never had it, you only aspire for it because you've heard it's the most amazing thing. And if you've ever had it even once, you only aspire for it because it's the most amazing thing. I don't know if I've ever had one, but sounds quite amazing. So, always praying to the Vaishnavas to keep us in their association. Look at how Narottam Das Thakur is praying to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Keep me tucked close to your reddish lotus feet. No? Nitai pada Kamala koti chandra shushitala. I think we have been brought to this point now. Thank you all devotees for adding to this conversation and increasing its excitedness. So now we will call out to Sri Nityananda Prabhu for his mercy in the form of Nitai pada Kamala koti chandra shushitala. And for some reason, where's Isha Thakurani? She has some kind of obsession for Sri Nityananda Prabhu, so I don't want her to be left out of this. I think it's great, and I think that Vrindavana Dasa Thakura would be so happy that she has such a mood for Sri Nityananda Prabhu. See the last line of this Nitai pada Kamala? Narottama boroduki, Nitai more koro sukhi. Narottama is very sad. Oh Nitai, make me happy. How? Rakho ranga charanera pash. Keep me close to the reddish soles of your lotus feet. Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. So that is page 58 by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Je Chaya Jagata Jura Je Chaya Jagata Jura Heno Nitai Bine Bhai Radha Krishna Kaitena Heno Nitai Bine Bhai Radha Krishna Paitena Dridha Kori Dharo Nitai Pai 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 Se Sambandho Nahi Jai Britha Janmo Gelo Tai Se Sambandho Nahi Jai Britha Janmo Gelo Tai Se Pashu Boro Durachar Se Pashu Boro Durachar Nitai na bolilo mukhe Majilo sangsara sukhe Nitai na bolilo mukhe Majilo sangsara sukhe Vidya kule ki koribe ta Vidya kule ki koribe ta Ahankare matta hoiya Nitai pada pasoriya Ahankare matta hoiya Nitai pada pasoriya Asatyere satya porimani Asatyere satya porimani Nitayir karuna have Braje Radha Krishna pave Nitayir karuna have যে রাধা কৃষ্ণ পাবে ধরো নিতাই চরণ দুখানি ধরো নিতাই চরণ দুখানি ধরো নিতাই চরণ দুখানি ধরো নিতাই চরণ দুখানি নিতাইয়ের চরণ সত্য তাহারো সেবক নিত্য নিতাইয়ের চরণ সত্য তাহারো সেবক নিত্য নিতাই পদ সদা করয়াসো নিতাই পদ সদা করয়াসো নরোত্তম বড় দুঃখী নিতাই মোরে করো সুখী নরোত্তম বড় দুঃখী নিতাই মোরে করো সুখী রাখো রাঙ্গা চরণের পাশ রাখো রাঙ্গা চরণের পাশ রাখো রাঙ্গা চরণের পাশ রাখো রাঙ্গা চরণের পাশ নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম নিতাই হে গৌর হে নিতাই হে গৌর হে নিতাই হে গৌর হে নিতাই হে गौर है। पतित पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम शचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय। Sonam, Radhe Radhe. Just so you know, their turbans are always Anantashesh. Baladev Prabhu manifests as their Shringar. So, okay, now we're going to call out to Sachinandan Gaurahari in the form of the Hindi bhajan Sundara Lala Sacira dulala nachata Shri Hari Kirtaname. And that is on page 361. Sundara Lala Sacira dulala nachata Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Sundara Lala Sacira dulala nachata Shri Hari Kirtan mein. 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 नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में 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 सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में भाले चंदन तिलक मनोहरो भाले चंदन तिलक मनोहर अलका शोभे कपोलन में अलका शोभे कपोलन में सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में शिरे चूरा दर्शनिराले शिरे चूरा दर्शनिराले वन फूल माला हिया पर दोले वन फूल माला हिया पर दोले पहिरन पीत पतांबर शोभे पहिरन पीत पतांबर शोभे नूपुर रुनु झुनु चरणन में नूपुर रुनु झुनु चरणन में सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में कोई गावत है राधा कृष्ण नाम कोई गावत है हरि गुण गान कोई गावत है राधा कृष्ण नाम कोई गावत है हरि गुण गान मृदंग ताला मधुर रसाला मृदंग ताला मधुर रसाला कोई गावत है रंगन में कोई गावत है रंगन में सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में 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 सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में सुंदर लाला सचिर दुलाला नाचत श्री हरि कीर्तन में शचि नंदन जय गौर हरि शचि नंदन जय गौर हरि जय शचि नंदन जय गौर हरि शचि नंदन जय गौर हरि गौर हे 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 श्री शचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय। cheap and best. Dandavat pranam. And since time is running, Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki. For both Radha and Krishna. Or Brajajanamana Sukhakari. Okay, now we need votes. Sudevi, vote. We've got one Brajajanamana over here. Brajajanamana or Anupama? I think so. Oh, it's switched to Anupama. Because we just recently did Brajajanamana with the other tune. Okay, we got Chloe Chandrika with Anupama. Ooh. Kesha Priya with Brajajana, JJ with Brajajana. Oh my god, this is going to be tough. Anupama. 1, 2, 3, 4. So far, 3. Okay. I think we're going to sing Anupama today and then Brajajanamana soon. We're getting more Brajajanamanas here. Oh, Anupama, okay. Both. Oh, now they're saying both. One today, one tomorrow. So Anupama it is for now. And then we will come back into Brajajanamana another time. Anupama, that's page 364. I didn't know my choice. I saw many different ones. Okay. Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki. Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki. Rasili Rasa Bhari Akiya Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki. Rasili Rasa Bhari Akiya Shyama Shyama Ki. Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki. Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki. Chabili Sughar Surat Madhur Batiya. Chavili Adaba Ki Sughar Surat Madhur Batiya. Tatak Gar श्याम श्यामा की अनुपमा माधुरी जोड़ी हमारे श्याम श्यामा की अनुपमा माधुरी जोड़ी हमारे श्याम श्यामा की मुकुट और चंद्रिका माथे अधर पर पान की लाली मुकुट और चंद्रिका माथे अधर पर पान की लाली अहो कैसी भली छवि है हमारे श्याम श्यामा की अहो कैसी भली छवि है हमारे श्याम श्यामा की अनुपमा माधुरी जोड़ी हमारे श्याम श्यामा की अनुपमा माधुरी जोड़ी हमारे श्याम श्यामा की परस्पर मिल के जब बिहरे श्री वृंदावन की कुंजन में परस्पर मिल के जब बिहरे श्री वृंदावन की कुंजन में नहीं बर नत बने शोभा हमारे श्याम श्यामा की नहीं बर नत बने शोभा हमारे श्याम श्यामा की अनुपम माधुरी जोड़ी हमारे श्याम श्यामा की अनुपम माधुरी जोड़ी हमारे श्याम श्यामा की नहीं कुछ लाल साधन की नहीं निर्वाण की इच्छा नहीं कुछ लाल साधन की नहीं निर्वाण की इच्छा सखी श्यामा को दो दर्शन दया हो श्याम श्यामा की सखी श्यामा को दो दर्शन दया हो श्याम श्यामा की अनुपम माधुरी जोड़ी हमारे श्याम श्यामा की अनुपम माधुरी जोड़ी हमारे श्याम श्यामा की रसीली रस भरी आँखिया हमारे श्याम श्यामा की रसीली रस भरी आँखिया हमारे श्याम श्यामा की हमारे श्याम श्यामा की हमारे श्याम श्यामा की जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय राधे जय कृष्ण ओ राधे हे कृष्ण हे राधे हे Vrishabhananandani Shrimati Radha Thakurani ki jai. Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki jai. Jiva Pavana Prabhu just posted a quote from our Srila Gurudev from June 1996. Where there is ego, difference of opinion and fear, there is no Vaishnavata. Shri Guru comes to bring a person to the path of bhakti. Honoring qualified Vaishnavas is the same as honoring one's Guru. Without honoring Vaishnavas, one will be ruined. Powerful, intense, heavy, and extremely essential, important quote. Thank you, Prabhu, for posting. And now we have come to that point in our evening. We did speak a lot before, so the bhajans have been extended a little bit, where we will call out for the shelter, the mercy of Radha and Krishna in the form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. Make me yours, for I am yours. Tabaivasmi, najibami tvayabina, iti vigyaya radhe tongnayamama charanantike. With a mood of deep prayer, calling out from the core of our heart for divine love and service to Radha and Krishna, and also praying for the benefit of all others, calling on their behalf as well, as Mahaprabhu ordered. Jive doya, be merciful to the jivas. So this is also part of our process in following the instructions of the Lord. How? By sharing Krishna. So calling out in this beautiful Mahamantra, we will pray to Krishna, Srimati Radhika, for their mercy. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo, Shri Gurudeva ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Rupa Gaudiya Vaishnava ki Jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. I'm reading Kesava Priya's. The Mahamantra is indeed ever fresh and most beautiful. When I first came to ISKCON, I remember asking Mother Mridani whether she was not getting bored with singing the same thing over and over for all those years. I remember her saying, that would happen if we were singing Coca-Cola over and over again, but this is the Mahamantra, and her explaining transcendental sound vibration. And now, after all those years, every day I think, the Mahamantra is so beautiful. Nice. You would get maybe Coca-Cola if you're meditating on it enough, but then you just get sick as a result. But Mahamantra is the cure for all diseases. Maha Oshadhi. Not only the cure for all diseases, it also brings the highest bliss and transcendental pleasure. Maybe we might not be experiencing it yet, but one day, if we continue taking shelter of the holy names of the Lord, following the instructions of our Gurudev and Guru Varga, serving the Vaishnavas, serving Gurudev, and serving Gaur Nityananda Prabhu, by their mercy, one day we will be able to enter into the service of Sri Harinam Prabhu, and we will realize that Sri Harinam Prabhu is the self-same Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimiraandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitya Namine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giring Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam to the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudeva, thousands of times in the dust of his lotus feet. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupar Ashto Tarashata Shri Srimad Shri Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. In the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupar Ashto Tarashata Shri Srimad Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of you who are present with us today, we offer our Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam to Vaishnavas. Radhe 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 Shyam.
Radhe Shyam. So, you want to share something?
I'm waiting for the mantras.
Okay. She was looking expectantly this way, and I was thinking, oh, she wants to say something. I was excited, but she wants to repeat. So, before entering into Sri Vrindavana Dasa Thakura, Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, this beautiful transcendental literature, which will bring about a revolution in the impious lives and in the pious lives of everyone, known as Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, is full of mercy. It is written down by Sri Vrindavana Dasa Thakura, and the commentary is by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So before entering into this beautiful transcendental treasure, we will pray in the dust of their lotus feet that may even a particle of their moods, which are present within these pages, manifest itself within our hearts. Now, before opening this, we are going to chant the first verse of Sri Shikshashtakam by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Are you ready? Everyone, repeat after me, and Sudevi will help to lead the repeat. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Maha Davagni Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. Oh, someone please post it also. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Badhu Jivanam Vitaranam Vidya Badhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purna Amritam Ashvadanam Pratipadam Purnamritashvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Shri Shikshashtakam ki jai. Now we're going to open up Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, and this is the first verse which we will tell every single day because it's the beautiful introduction, opening shlok, and I'm going to only do this one word for now. It is Ajanu Lambita Bhujo. Can anyone please post that one so that everyone can follow? Ajanu Lambita Bhujo Kanakavadato Sankirtanaika Pitaro Kamalaya Taksho Vishwambharo Dvijavaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro. Thank you. Oh, I had requested Amarendra Prabhu to send me his class glorifying Gadadhar Pandit, and it just popped up, and I was like, oh, that's nice. He just sent it at that moment. TK. So we are in chapter 1, page 11, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is giving proofs from different scriptures about the supremacy or non-difference between Sachinandan Gaurahari and Krishna himself and what his function is. So yesterday we read Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who is more magnanimous than any other avatar. Even Krishna himself. Now Krishna is not an avatar, but even then, Sri Krishna Chaitanya is more magnanimous than Krishna himself. Because he is bestowing freely what no one else has ever given. Pure love of Krishna. In other words, magnanimity is Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's characteristic, and distributing love of Krishna is his pastime. Srila Krishna Ras Kaviraj Goswami has stated in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 8:15. It's really important to give the source of where something is coming from. In spiritual and material matters, because otherwise, without a foundation, everything or anything can be simply cheating or lying. And, as we know, Mother Earth can tolerate almost anything, but one of its heaviest burdens is the burden of lying. We already know that Dharma, the bull, represented by the bull with 4 legs, 3 legs have already been smashed. And only one thing is partially remaining, and that is Satyam, truthfulness. Cleanliness is gone. What is it? Satyam, Socham, Panam, and Daya. Intoxication, prevalent everywhere. Mercy, gone. But some truthfulness, something remains. So if we do not present evidence when we are representing Guru Sadhu Shastra, or within mundane circles as well, if we do not give our source, then we are contributing to the confusion of this world. It is essential that we give our source and that we don't create or concoct, otherwise it only creates unnecessary disturbance in society. So you see that our Guru Varga always gives their source. Like our Srila Prabhupada said, Vaishnava is Shastra Chakshusha. He never says, I think, maybe, I believe, or just concocts. Rather, whenever any question comes to a Vaishnava, immediately he quotes from Shastra. So there must be some authorized source. Adi Lila 8:15. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Daya Koroh Vichar, Vichar Korite Chitte Pabe Chamatkar. If you are indeed interested in logic and argument, kindly apply it to the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. If you do so, you will find it to be strikingly wonderful. This verse says a lot, especially regarding today, these days. If you are indeed interested in logic and argument, kindly apply it to the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. We can logically discuss so many things of this world or argue so many points. But here, the instruction is, apply it to Mahaprabhu. You will find it to be strikingly wonderful. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written about this mercy as follows. Doyala Nitai Chaitanya Bole. Here it says, Rakre, Nachre. Amaramon, my dear mind, please chant the names of the most merciful Nitai Chaitanya. And because of that, we're going to do it quickly. Oh my God, I actually literally flipped open directly to that page and closed it again. It's meant to be, but I'm still going to do it. Doyala Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon, Doyala Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon, Nachre Amaramon, Nachre Amaramon, Nachre Amaramon, Nachre Amaramon, Doyala Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon, Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon. Page 173. Dayal. Doyala Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon. Doyala Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon. Nachre Amaramon, Nachre Amaramon. Nachre Amaramon, Nachre Amaramon, Doyala Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon, Doyala Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon, Eman Doyal Tonai He, Doyal Tonai He, Marke Prema De Eman Doyal Tonai He, Marke Prema De Doyal Tonai He. Ore aparadha dure jabe pabe premodhan. Ore aparadha dure jabe pabe premodhan. O naam mein aparadho vichar to nae hai. Naam mein aparadho vichar to nae hai. O Krishna name ruchi habe guchibe bandhan. Takono Krishna name ruchi habe guchibe bandhan. Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon, Doyala Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon. Krishna name Anu Rag do have hai, Krishna name Anu Rag do have hai. Anaya se safal habe jeevera jeevan. Takon Anaya se safal habe jeevera jeevan. Krishna rati bina जीवन तो मिचे है. कृष्ण रति बिना जीवन तो मिचे है. वृंदावने राधा श्यामेर पावे दर्शन. शेषे वृंदावने राधा श्यामे पावे दर्शन. गौर कृपा हले है, गौर कृपा हले है. निताय चैतन्य बोले, नाचरे अमर मन. दयाल निताय चैतन्य बोले, नाचरे अमर मन. नाचरे अमर मन, नाचरे अमर मन. Nachre Amaramon, Nachre Amaramon, Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon, Doyal, Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon, Doyal, Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon, Doyal, Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Nachre Amaramon. Patit Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Jai, Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada made reference to this bhajan. Sorry, I'm not very good at singing it. One day maybe, by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, it will come to me. So here it says, chant the holy names of the munificent Nitai and Chaitanya and dance, my dear mind. Dance, oh mind. Just dance. There's lots of parentheses in there, so there's some alankars. There is no one as merciful as Nitai, for despite being beaten, he bestowed prem. By chanting their names, your offenses will go far away and you will obtain the treasure of prem. There is no considerations of offense in chanting their holy names. Then you will develop a taste for Krishna Nam, and your bondage to material existence will be destroyed. You will develop deep attachment to Krishna Nam. Then automatically your life will become successful. Without attachment to Shri Krishna, this life is simply useless. If you receive the mercy of Shri Gauranga, ultimately you will receive the darshan of Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar in Vrindavan. So, chant the holy names of the munificent Nitai and Chaitanya and dance, my dear mind, dance. O mind, just dance. How beautiful is that? So, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is referring to this. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has written about this mercy as follows. Dayal Nitai Chaitanya Bole, Achre Amarman, my dear mind, please chant the holy names of the most merciful Nitai Chaitanya. Actually, the charity given by Sri Gaur Nityananda is matchless, supreme, and unique. They are both maintainers of Yuga Dharma, performers of Sri Krishna Sankirtan, and bestowers of unalloyed mercy. The words Jagat Priyakaro indicate that Sri Gaur Nityananda are the benefactors of the universe. Srila Krishna Ras Kaviraj Goswami has written in Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 186 and 102 as follows. Jagat Priya Karo. Here it says benefactors, but also Priya means most dear. Se dui jagatera hoya sadoy, Gaura deshe purva shaile, korila udoy. E chandra surya dui parama sadoy, Jagatera bhagye gore, korila udoy. These two have arisen over the eastern horizon of Gauradesh, West Bengal. Being compassionate for the fallen state of the world, these two, the sun and moon, are very kind to the people of the world. Thus, for the good fortune of all, they have appeared on the horizon of Bengal. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 1-2 further states, Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Godo Daye Pushpavanto Chitro Sando Tamo Nudo. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gaura to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. Regarding Karuna Avataro, the two merciful incarnations, Srila Rupa Goswami regarding Karuna-avataro, the two merciful incarnations, who are the most merciful. Srila Rupa Goswami has written about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the introduction to his Vidagda Madhava as follows. Anarpita charing chirat kurunayavatirnakalo samarpayitum munatojvala rasang svabhakti shriyam harihi purata sundara dyuti kadamba sandipita sada hridaya kandare spuratu vashachi nandana. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation ever offered before. So this word samarpayitu means in an extremely long time. So if you look at historically in terms of human years, Technically, a human cannot count to even 1 billion in one lifetime. If you started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8,600,000, or what is it? 8,400,000, 8,400,001, 8,400,099. If you were trying to count to 8,640,000,000, you couldn't do it in one life. And that is how long, in terms of human years, 8,640,000,000 years, as if it has never happened before, since Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari manifested and performed his pastimes. So here, this term, what no incarnation ever offered before. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has written in Sri Caitanya Charitamrita Adi 5207, 208 and 216, who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? Because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy, he does not distinguish between the good and the bad. The mercy of Lord Nityananda showed me Sri Madan Mohan and gave me Sri Madan Mohan as my Lord and Master. So he does not distinguish between the good and bad. We understand that there is some conception of aparad to Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but there's no conception of aparad while chanting the names of Nityananda and Gauranga. Therefore we take shelter of them. By their mercy our hearts can be purified, so that when we approach Mahamantra, we do not just approach Mahamantra in a mood of aparad, but rather we approach them with a clean heart, in a mood of desire and prayer for eternal loving service. So by the mercy of Nityananda and Gauranga, Anjali, it's 8,640,000,000. You're missing a couple 100 million there. 140 million. 8,640,000,000. So here, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is already approaching the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari, but really bringing out this mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Without the mercy of Nitai, one cannot attain the mercy of Gauranga. And one might think, hey, wait a second. Why can't I just go to Gauranga? Raghunath Das Goswami did go to Gauranga, and Gauranga sent him home. Go home. Don't be like a mad person. Be like normal in the world, so that no one can detect what is going on in your mind and heart. But all the while, you should remember and serve Krishna within your mind and heart. When the time is right, Krishna will make all arrangements for you. He had already gone to Gauranga, and Gauranga sent him home. So something was missing. Some more sadhana was necessary. Some more anxiousness, greed was necessary. And then also the stamp of approval of Sri Nityananda Prabhu was necessary. What was that stamp of approval? Nityananda said, Raghunath! What are you doing? Only a thief stays hidden in the distance. Come here. Raghunath came. Nityananda Prabhu was sitting under a massive banyan tree with thousands and thousands of disciples and devotees surrounding him, looking more beautiful than millions of moons. Nitai pada Kamala koti chandra shushitala. So Raghunath Das came and offered his Dandavat Pranam at the feet of Nityananda Prabhu. At that moment, Nityananda Prabhu told him, you are a thief. Why? Because you tried to take what is my property without coming to me. Nityananda Prabhu placed both of his feet on the head of Raghunath Das Goswami, gave his stamp of approval, the stamp of his lotus feet. He said, you tried to take that property, which is my property, that is Sachinandan Gaurahari Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, without coming to me. So he called him a thief. Now I will punish you. And what punishment did he give him? You serve all of the Vaishnavas. So a big festival came at Panihati, known as Chiddha Dadi Mahamahotsav. That is the flat rice and yogurt. There wasn't just flat rice and yogurt. There was sweetened condensed milk. There was bananas and so many other Thousands of Vaishnavas were served by Raghunath Das Goswami. In other words, Nityananda Prabhu engaged the energy of Raghunath Das in serving all of the Vaishnavas, the energy in the form of his money and everything, serving all of the Vaishnavas. By the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, he received the mercy of all of the Vaishnavas, and then he was again sent to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. At that time, Mahaprabhu did not send him home. He gave him into the guidance of his most trusted Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami, who in Krishna Lila is Lalita Sakhi. From that moment, Raghunath Das Goswami became known as Swarupera Raghu, the Raghu of Swarup Damodar Goswami. So this is very, very beautiful and powerful pastime, but also showing us what is necessary for us to attain the shelter of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Without receiving the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, we cannot attain the shelter of Mahaprabhu. Without attaining the mercy of Sri Gurudeva and Vaishnavas, we cannot attain the shelter of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Without the mercy of Mahaprabhu, one cannot attain the shelter of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna and service to their lotus feet. Therefore, we call out to all of these divine personalities for their mercy. Now, question. If there's no offense in chanting the names of Nitai Gaur, why is it recommended to chant Mahamantra instead of Nitai, Nitai or Nitai Gaur? Yes, I actually asked Gurudev that question directly because I was a little bit confused and I had the same exact question. Because I was reading in Prabhupada's books, one can attain prem simply by chanting the names of Nitai Gauranga. So I was like, well, if there's no aparad in chanting the names Nitai Gauranga, then why are we chanting the Hare Krishna mantra if you can attain perfection via that medium? So I asked Gurudev, why do we chant Hare Krishna mantra, Mahamantra, if there's so much conception for aparad and there can be this and that as a result and so many things? Why don't we just chant Nitai Gauranga? Gurudev looked at me very gravely and he said, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants you to chant Hare Krishna. And I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. If you're calling Nitai Gauranga, please give me your mercy. What mercy will they give you? Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shiksha. Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Nir Aparada Nam Loilo, Pai Premadan. By this you will receive prem. Without offense, Nir Aparad, always take shelter of the holy names. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So as you're approaching them and they're giving you their mercy is this. In the same way, if you call Gurudev, give me your mercy, give me your mercy. I read something today, it was interesting. Truth is knocking on your door and you say, I'm not interested, go away, I'm searching for truth. In the same way, if we're praying for the mercy of Gurudev and Gurudev gives his mercy, no, I don't want this. Give me your mercy. It's a sign of lack of sincerity. So when we're calling out to Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, please give me your mercy, what is their mercy? They're in the mood of bhaktas, in the mood of sadhakas. So they're not in the mood of Vishai, that yes, I am your goal and aspiration. They're not in that mood. What are they telling? Always serve Krishna, chant the names of Krishna. Do it like this, do it like that. So to receive the mercy of Nitai and Gaur is also to follow their instructions and their example. This is what Gurudev told me directly because he wants you to do it. And I was like, okay. I hope that was sufficient. It was a great question. Well, we should always call the names of Nitai Gauranga first. By calling those names, they clear the path of so many millions of anarthas. Because there's no conception of offense. And yet, it's not so easy to just call their names either. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said that there was once a group of dacoits, and they used to go from one village to the next, and as they were attacking and killing people and stealing everything, they would say, Joy Nitai Gauranga, poof, like this. He said, this is not calling the name of Nitai Gauranga, this is abusing the name of Nitai Gauranga. It's different. So there's also some conception. You cannot say aparad, but one should be calling it with a sincere heart. The names of Nitai and Gauranga should be called with a sincere heart, not just abusing it for some mundane purpose. We can chant Nitai Gauranga, and maybe our purpose is only for Kanaka or Kamani or Pratishtha. How can I chant this? What can I get as a material result? This is not sincere. How should one approach Nityananda Prabhu? How should one approach Gauranga? With a sincere mood. You see how Mahaprabhu is. How strong and how strict he is. They are Guru. They are Jagat Guru. Of course, here we just saw that Nityananda Prabhu, he's a little bit extra special. Nityananda Prabhu does not distinguish between the good and the bad. Nityananda Prabhu is going from door to door, the blade of grass between his teeth. This is representing that I am like an animal. This is the most humility. It's representing this deep humility. Please chant the name of my Gauranga. And then you can purchase me just by chanting the name of my Gauranga. Please, even once. Nityananda Prabhu broke open the dam which was holding back the flood of prem. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, and he has his purpose in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give prem. Krishna prema pradayate. Raga marga bhakti loke korite pracharan. To give, to awaken spontaneous love for Krishna in the wake of the Brajabasis, in the hearts of all in this world. And yet that was dammed up. But Nityananda Prabhu, being struck on the head by Jagai and Madai, what happened? He felt great compassion for them. That these two will have to suffer for like millions of years or an eternity in hell for all of the sins they've committed. They require mercy more than anyone. O Mahaprabhu, if you will give them your mercy, then certainly you will be known as the greatest donor. Your glories will be known everywhere. Please awaken the devotee and annihilate the demonic tendency within them. What did Mahaprabhu do? By the petition of Nityananda Prabhu, as we see in that bhajan, Shunya Amara Duk Vaisnava Thakur Amalage Krishna Avedi Bena Prachur. The Vaishnava, or in this case Nityananda Prabhu, will petition profusely on our behalf to the Lord. And the Lord, hearing their prayer, will give his mercy. Vaishnavera Avedane Krishna Doyamoy Eheno Pamara Prati Habena Sadoy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to give his mercy. But what did he first do? He made them confess. Speak out what you've done and make a vow that you will never do any of this ever again. Srila Gurudeva explained that real repentance does not mean that I'm going to do something and then I'm going to speak it out and apologize for it and then go back and do it again. He said real repentance would be that one would weep, seeking forgiveness, and will never do that activity again. This is true repentance. So Mahaprabhu made them confess, and then Mahaprabhu removed all of those sins, and he said, now they are pure. It is possible to turn the most simple person into a pure devotee by the mercy and grace of the Lord and his pure devotees. This is a possibility. And for us, that is the greatest source of hope. That I could have been, I was, most definitely, in millions of previous lives, so simple. No, there is not one sin we have not committed in millions of times over, Gurudev said. Not one sin. And if you even look at what Jagai Madai were doing, oh, so much sin. They were killing, they were pillaging, they were raping men and women. They were doing all sorts of horrible, simple activities. And yet, by the grace and mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, petitioning Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu not only did not chop off their heads with his chakra, but instead he removed the demonic tendencies within them. He removed all of their sinful activities and their simple reactions and awakened prema within them. What did these two do since then, from that time onward? Only weeping, feeling themselves to be the most lowly, always chanting the holy name, and constantly serving the Vaishnavas. So this is the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, that he's not discriminating, he's not looking good and bad on the external. He sees the potential, the nature of our Atma. What is the nature of every single Atma in all of creation? I'll give you a hint. There's a verse. Starts with Jiber. Whoever gets it first will win. Oh, idli, hot, fresh hot idli with dhania chutney and sambar and coconut chutney. Okay, we got a little bit of a delay here. Please forgive me for the delay. I think Kesha Priya, she really likes the South Indian. I've seen her sambar. Very good, Sonam. Jivera Surupa Hoy Krishnera Nitya Das. The nature of every jiva is that they are eternally the servant of Krishna. So all of that nonsense and everything is only on the external. So Sri Guru, Nityananda Prabhu, they see the potential of every jiva. And despite all of that complete nonsense that may have been there before, they give them their mercy. Only those who are cheaters, duplicitous, full of hypocrisy, they may not accept that mercy, even though Guru and Vaishnavas, Nityananda Prabhu, the Lord, are trying to give it. But there, Nityananda Prabhu broke that dam open. Ghare ghare bule prem amiyaraban. And the flood of prem went everywhere, drowning everyone, including those who didn't want it. But it is said that only those who are kapata, duplicitous, cheaters, they could not drown in that flood. So Mahaprabhu would say, give up your duplicitous nature, your cheating nature. Then you can be a recipient for this prem that Mahaprabhu is giving. So, Keshava Priya was running from the kitchen to type it. Wow. All right, okay. Idlis, you can make a lot of idli. We'll have to have it all around. Great. So I'm just going to read that one sentence again. Who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? Now this is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He's a pure devotee. But he himself is feeling himself lower than a worm in stool. And he even says, more simple than Jagai and Madai. This is symptomatic of true humility. Although he is the most qualified and a pure devotee of the Lord, he's feeling himself the most low and the most fallen and the most sinful. Therefore, feeling that, he has that deep requirement for that mercy. And that deep feeling of requirement, neediness for that mercy, that greed for it is attracting that mercy. Who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? Because he is intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy. He does not distinguish between the good and the bad. We should apply these moods toward ourselves. We should also say, who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? It's not just Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He's showing us, he himself, by his humility, is showing us how to become humble. If he himself is so great and yet feeling that humility, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj explained that is how we will develop humility, by associating with those who are truly great but themselves feeling that humility. Then how can we present greatness in front of them? By being in that association, by their humility, real humility will begin to develop within us. So from that I understood that transcendental humility is not the same as, oh no, Prabhu, you are so great, you're so wonderful, and you know, that kind of thing, oh, jumping at someone's feet. That's something different. That's some kind of game that someone is playing. But when you come in front of someone who is truly great but feeling themselves so lowly and humble, it is very humbling. At this moment, for some reason, I'm remembering it was Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Maharaj, how he was speaking about the acceptance of the role of Acharya. And he said, my Guru Maharaj saw that I was so unqualified that he wanted everyone to constantly be watching me and checking me and inspiring me to always remember Guru, Gauranga, and Radha and Krishna. So therefore, seeing my weakness, he gave me such a position. And you can see his position, how much he was glorified and how many had so much honor, respect, and received so much from him, and yet he's manifesting this kind of humility. In front of that kind of greatness and seeing that kind of humility, it makes even the great egotistical persons kind of shy and back, you know, like, ooh, yeah, I think I'm so great, but I'm nothing really next to such a person. So being in the association of those who are truly great, naturally they will manifest humility. This will increase the feeling of humility, true, genuine humility within us. So, because Nityananda Prabhu is intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy, he does not distinguish between the good and the bad. That's really, really good for us. That's like, yes, yes, this is my hope, this is my lifeline. He's not going to distinguish. Despite all of my nonsense, despite all of my millions of lifetimes of nonsense, still, his nature, he is made of compassion and mercy, and I require it. So I have hope. And as Gurudeva would say, don't be hopeless. Never be hopeless. The mercy of Nityananda showed me Madan Mohan and gave me Sri Madan Mohan as my Lord and Master. So Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Sri Sachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai, Sri Vrindavana Dasa Thakura ki jai, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai. Tomorrow we begin verse 2. Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Nitai Gaurango, 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 Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Guru Premanande,
Hari Hari Bol.
Shri Gurudeva ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu की जय, प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम शचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय, राधा विनो बिहारी जू की जय, राधा रमन जू की जय, गिरिराज महाराज की जय, हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति, गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति, गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति, गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति। बोलो राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे, राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे, राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे। बोलो राधे राधे राधे, जय 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 श्री राधे। श्री विनोद बिहारी जू की जय, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे श्याम। So thank you all very much for being with us today and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga. Why do I read a little and speak a little? Because that's what Srila Gurudev ordered.
Someone's asking?
Well, they're like, only one page today. If I were just reading it, well, anyone can just read it. But this is actually a study. So, my personal experience has been that if I'm in a class and someone is only reading, just reading, I kind of tend to fall asleep. So Gurudev actually told us directly when he ordered us to travel and preach his mission and inspire on his behalf. We were a little bit concerned how we were going to do it. And he said, after a couple of weeks it'll be easy. Just read a little, speak a little. Read a little, speak a little. So I'm trying to follow that format. That's why I said it might take a few years to get through Sri Caitanya-bhāgavata. Sudevi was like, only 3 years? Last night. She's like, you think it's only going to take 3 years? Because it took 6 months to do just Damodarashtakam, which is one small book, and we've got 7 big volumes. So it doesn't how do you say? Disturb me that it will take so long. That's just more time to be absorbed in the pastimes of Mahaprabhu and the teachings of Mahaprabhu and the Vaishnavas. So also, we'd like to express our indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Gurudev, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. We will begin the second verse of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Radhe
Radhe
Radhe.
Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai. Shachinandana Gaur Hari
Ki
ki
jai.
jai.
Someone's asking, Upasana Das is why called Vinod Bihari?
Oh.
Quickly.
Okay.
It's important.
Radha Chinta Niveshena Yasya Kantir Vilopita Shri Krishna Charanam Bande Radha Lingita Vigraham. Vinod Bihari is a very special form of Krishna. His complexion is not blackish, but it is golden complexion. You know the history in Imlitala. Krishna was sitting there completely, desperately absorbed in and meditating on Srimati Radhika. And by that, his complexion became Gauranga, or golden, like her complexion. Therefore, he is Vinod Bihari. So, Vinod Bihari is a special form of Krishna who is always eager for and seeking after the shelter and the mercy of Srimati Radhika. And he is the Thakur. Radha Vinod Bihari is the Thakur of our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj, and he's also our Thakurji.
Okay.
Radha Vinod Bihari.
Thank you. Okay, so Radhe
Radhe Radhe Chiveriya Modumani
Hasta mañana, kal milenge tat morgen.
Ashita Radhe
Radhe Radhe Shyam. Hey Lalit, the pirate is here. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.